Sa ikalawang araw ng International Conference ng After the Peace Agreements, the Bangsamoro and Beyond, tinalakay naman ang usapin hinggil sa ex-combatants matapos ang paglagda sa peace agreement. Ang News Now sa report.
Ano na nga ba ang buhay ng isang ex-combatant matapos ang paglagda sa peace agreement? Dito umikot ang diskusyon sa ikalawang araw ng International Conference na After the Peace Agreements, the Bangsamoro and Beyond, na inorganisa ng Institute for Autonomy and Governance o IAG, BARM Government o PAPRO at iba't ibang international non-government organizations. Ano na nga ba ang landas na tinahak ng isang ex-combatant matapos ang paglagda sa isang kasunduang pangkapayapaan? Ibinahagi ng mga panelists mula sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa ang kanilang pananaw mula sa kani-kanilang karanasan.
The Maoist party, when the aftermath of the peace process in 2006, they did not restrict participation to the former fighters. Instead, it actively recruited and promoted members from diverse groups, including the non-Maoist. And I think this approach also helped them create broader inclusive party, and they were able to win the majority in 2008 Constitutional Assembly election and became the largest ruling party. And this also helped them to draft Nepal's new constitutions, which was quite progressive in integrating like quotas, promoting women's participation, and as well as women's representation at all level of government, and also they were fighting hard for the citizenship issues as well.
So in my work, I'm most especially interested in long-term reintegration trajectories of ex-combatants, primarily motivated by the assumption and the knowledge that ex-combatants and veterans don't go away. Shifts in expectations and demands are dynamic over time, but any aspiration that they disappear as a result of a peace process is one that I think is the opposite of an integrative hope or desire for them. Instead, in my work, I try to center participatory approaches that do something radical, which is ask ex-combatants what those aspirations are and to map and identify how they shift over time.
At the age of 18, I went to Libya and I started my life as a combatant in the MNLF, Moro National Liberation Front, and it ended as a combatant when we were integrated into the Armed Forces of the Philippines in 1997 at the age of 29, and I retired from the military service last year at the age of 56, being the only integre officer that reached to the rank of poor colonel and the only integre officer that became a battalion commander out of 225 officers from the MNLF or combatants that integrated into the armed forces. Anyway, you will be asking later on why out of 225 integre officers, only one that became a poor colonel and became a battalion commander.
Nagkaroon din ng tatlong thematic sessions. Una ay ang New Shapes of Power na nagtataguyod ng transformative governance na nakatutok sa lakas at kahinaan sa isang otonomiya. Pangalawa ay ang People First na nagsusulong ng social and economic empowerment para sa lahat. At ang pangatlo ay ang From Scenarios to Action, Building Preferred Futures, kung saan hinimay ang mga hakbang sa hinaharap sa pagpapatupad ng Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro o CAB. Samantala, inilunsad din sa kasagsagan ng pagtitipon ang Coffee Table Book ng OPAPRO na pinamagatang Metamorphosis, A Decade's Journey to Peace. Sa Plenary 5, From Rebel Chief to Chief Executives, tinalakay naman ang dynamic transformation ng rebel leaders sa pagiging political executives at ang mga hamon na tagumpay mula sa insurgency patungong governance. Hinimay ng mga panelist ang ideological shifts, institutional demands at public expectations sa isang dating rebelde na mamuno sa isang bansa kung saan binigyang diin ang maselang pagbalanse sa pagitan ng revolutionary zeal at pragmatic leadership. Sa Plenary 6, Aligning Donor Efforts in Post-Conflict Settings, Strategies for Effective Coordination and Impact, Tinalakay din ang pag-optimize ng donor intervention sa pamamagitan ng pagpapahaba ng duplication, pagpapahusay ng synergy, at pagtiyak na naayon ito sa local priorities.
Australia is very committed to empowering local actors to develop development assistance here in the Philippines. We engage at different levels. We have a development partnership agreement which is agreed with the Philippines government, and the title is very important. The word partnership is in there, and all the priorities are agreed. But as part of our process, we also talk to local actors and other institutions in order to develop our priorities. So that's one thing. And besides funding programs, I guess an important feature of the work we do here in the Philippines and a range of other countries is we also provide technical assistance, capacity building and grants to local partners to invest in organisations. So it's not just projects, we also invest in partners, so local partners, so they can develop their capacity to help address the issues of the day.
For our part, we can try and help out where help is needed. We could be a mediator, we could be a facilitator, we could act as contact diplomats, just facilitating contact, or we can support others that are basically more or less running the show. Because it's not important for us as such to do this or that. The most important thing is also to make sure that we can help support in the best way possible.
Phase started, Japan gradually shifted its focus more on the human development, human resources development in the transition process, while continuing our socio-economic projects, support projects in various areas. And since the establishment of Bangsamoro Autonomous Government, we have been making our efforts with three pillars in our mind. One is to support the capacity development of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Government. And secondly, to support the normalization processes. And thirdly, to support the socio-economic development for the poverty alleviation and the reconstruction of the conflict-affected areas. And that's about it.
Now, of course, as the agreement was signed and we moved to implementation, we adapted our support accordingly, and we focused on institution building, on normalization, and on socio-economic development. We had our program Subatra, PD BARM, and we provided support to the Bangsamoro Transition Authority. So we targeted our support both on the political track and on the normalization track and on socio-economic development. We funded projects that supported the creation of sustainable livelihoods and social enterprises in former armed camps, and so to help former rebels and their communities also transition to peaceful life.
Jen Garcia, iMinds, Philippines.